Today I'm going to show you how to draw section JJ from a given floor plan. I have this floor plan and I want to draw section JJ. Now for me to draw section JJ, I must first cut through this part, which is window in wall. The cutting plane is cutting through this part, which is window in wall. It's cutting through the beam. There's an arc at this point. The cutting plane is also passing through here. Then when you look towards your right hand side, you will see a door in elevation. As you keep moving and tracing the cutting plane, you will see another double door, DD, towards the entrance porch, after which you see another window in wall. So the cutting plane is cutting through window in wall, through the arc, and another window in wall, but you will only see the doors in elevation. We are going to work using these specifications. So we have the foundation, floor, the steps, walls, doors, windows, lintels, beam, and roof with their given dimensions. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'll draw out a thin line, which is my reference line, after which I'll bring out the first part of the drawing. And the first part is where the cutting plane touches this window. So you start from JJ, this is the first part. You start from this sectional, this cutting plane, and you are looking towards the direction of the arrow. The arrow is facing towards your right hand side. So you see at this point, you see a window at the wall. So it's cutting, the cutting plane is touching window, which is positioned in the wall, or which is placed in the wall. So how do I draw it? When I'm drawing using scale 1 to 50, it means I'm going to multiply whatever is given to me by 2. So now the width, the breadth of the building, the length is 14.5. From here to here, we have 14.5, and the breadth of the building is 9.8. 14.5 by 9.8. So when I'm drawing using scale 1 to 50, section JJ using scale 1 to 50, I'm to multiply 9.8 by 2. That will give us 19,600. We have 19,600, which is 9.6. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'll draw a thin line which is equal to 19,600. So I'll bring out my ruler to confirm the measurements. The line must be equal to the breadth of the building, 19,600. So I will extend my line to be able to achieve, to be able to get the measurement. Yes, I have 19,600. I'll remove my ruler in order to continue with the rest of the building. So the next thing to do after the width, the breadth has been established, is to cut through this first part. The first part is window in wall. Window in wall. Now the wall thickness is given as the wall thickness. We check from the specification. The walls, all walls 225. Now any measurement you are working with on sectional view is going to be multiplied by 2. because your building is already drawn to scale 1 to 50. So now instead of using 225 wall thickness, I'm going to use 450. So my wall thickness will be 450. Before I draw the wall thickness, I will bring out the height of the building. And the height of the building, height of floor to ceiling is 3,100. Height of floor to ceiling is 3,100. So I'm going to multiply this by 2. That will give me 6,200. Then I also have the floor level. The floor level is 450 higher than the ground level. I have the floor level, which is 450 higher than the ground level. So let me start by drawing the height from floor to ceiling, 3,100. So the first thing I'll measure the floor level, which is given as 450. So for me to use the dimension, I'll multiply it by 2. 450 times 2, that gives me 900. So I will have 900. I'll put a dot. I'll put a dot at 900. I will also do the same thing at the other end of my building. At the other end of my building, I will also put a dot at 450. Sorry, 900. So I have 900. Okay, this is the floor level. After the floor level, I can now draw the height of floor to ceiling. The first thing I drew was the floor level, which is 450, then multiply the 450 by 2, that gives 900. Then height of floor to ceiling is 3,100. So I'm going to start, I'll take this one all the way. I'll connect the 2 points together. That gives me my floor level. Now from this end, I'll bring out the height of the wall. The height of the wall is 3,100. I'll multiply it by 2. That will give me 6,200. But I'm starting my measurement from the floor level. 6,200 from the floor level. 6,200. I'll use it to bring out the thickness of the wall. The thickness of the wall is 225. They're using scale 1 to 50. I'll measure 450 instead of 225. So I'll place my ruler this way. I'll mark out 450. So I now have a wall thickness of 450. I have a wall thickness of 450. Now, because the wall will start from the floor level, I'll take it all the way, all through. So I've measured 6.2. Let me remove my ruler. I'll clean up this line because the wall goes all the way down. Very good. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'll repeat the same procedure at the extreme end. When you go back to the floor plan, you see that the cutting plane is cutting through this window and it's also cutting through the other part of the external wall. There are two sides. This is one and this is two. So I want to repeat the same procedure at the other end of the building. Just pick up your ruler, measure 6.2 from the floor level. Measure 6.2 from the floor level. Six point two. Then you bring out the thickness of the wall, which is going to be 450. 450. So I'll place it this way to be able to get my 450. Put a dot. Put a dot at this point. Remove my ruler. Extend the line. Extend this line so as to be able to bring out the thickness of the wall. Now when I'm drawing my wall, it will go all the way, all through, because the wall will start from the substructure, to the superstructure. Now when we talk about substructure means the part that is underneath the building. These are the foundation, the hard core, the concrete oversight, the blinding. These are the parts that are underneath the wall. But when we talk about superstructure, superstructure is above the foundation. Is above the foundation. So I've been able to draw my external walls. The next thing is to draw window in wall. The window is cutting through this wall. So I'll look for the size of the window, which is W. I'll go to my specification. I'll check for window. This is W. I have my window to be 2000 by height of 1002. 2000 by height of 1002, sliding glazing aluminum frame. Now, when you are looking at this from the sectional view, you will see only the height. You will not be able to see it in elevation because it's cutting through. As the cutting plane is cutting through the window, as it's cutting through this part, it's cutting all the way down. So all you will see is the height of the window and not the width. So I'm going to bring out the height of the window using the conventional symbol. So now I'm going to measure from the floor level. I'll measure a height of 4.2. A height of 4.2. The actual height of a door, the standard height of a door is 2.1 by 0.9. The height of a door is 2.1. We normally use 2.1 to be able to bring all the windows and the doors to the same level. So now, because I'm going to multiply it by 2, since I'm using scale 1 to 50, I'm going to multiply 2.1 by 2. That gives me 4.2. So I will mark out 4.2 on my wall. 4.1, 4.2. I'll mark it out. Once I mark it out, I'll remove my ruler, draw a line across, the wall. I'll put a line across the wall. Then I'll measure out the height from that line. I'll measure out the height of the window. The height of the window from the specification is 1002. 1002. Window, where is it again? Window 2000 by 1002. So the 1002 will be multiplied by 2. That gives 2.4. So when I'm going to bring out my window from the sectional view, I will measure 2.4. So I'm going to measure 2.4 from here. 2.4. I'll measure it on the wall. So from here to this point, I have 2.4. I'll put a dot. I'll put a dot to be able to draw out the, I'll put a dot. So after this, I'll close it together. I'll close it up. And I will now draw two lines in between this. I'll just draw two lines positioned at the center. This is the conventional symbol for window. So when you want to draw window in wall, so this is called window in wall. The next thing to do, the remaining parts of the wall, I will just put the symbol for wall in section, where you have two closed lines that indicate wall in section. Then above the window in wall, remember in basic tech you were taught above your openings you have what? Lintel. So I'm going to place my lintel above the opening, and the lintel has a size of 225 by 225 reinforced concrete. So I'll go back to my drawing. I'll measure from here to this point. I'll measure 225 times 2. That gives me 450. So I'll measure 0.45. So I will assume this is 0.45. I'll assume this is 0.45. Then I'll put in dots, dots, dots to show that it's a concrete wall. It's concrete and stone, concrete, cement, and sand. Then you put the aggregates. That's how to represent your lintel. Now, when we are done with the first part, we are done with this first part, we'll keep tracing the cutting plane. As you are tracing the cutting plane, you're also looking towards your right hand side. Now I'm tracing the cutting plane down. Now the cutting plane is touching another part, which we have the arc. The arc represents a reinforced concrete beam. So we are going to position a beam at this point. But before we position the beam, we are going to check for the distance between this point and this point. The distance is 3.5. So I'll multiply 3.5 by 2. That gives me 7,000. So from my external wall, I'll measure 7,000. I'll measure 7,000 from my external wall. So I have 7,000 from my external wall. So once I get to 7, I'll put a dot. I'll put a dot once I get to 0.7. So this is 0.7. I'll put a dot. Then the next thing to draw is the arc. How do I represent this on the sectional drawing? I'm going to use a line. The symbol is a line drawn from the point. From this point, I'll represent it with a line. I'll draw a line, a straight line. I will also use the same height of the building, which is 3.2. The height of the building is 3.2, so I'll just bring out 6.2. No, the given height is 3.1, so I'm going to bring out, like we did for the first one, I'll bring out 6.2, which is 3.1 times 2. Then I'll also draw the thickness of the wall. Okay, at this point, I don't need to draw the thickness of the wall because when I'm looking at the arc, I will only see a straight line. Then when I get to the position where I need to place the beam, I'm going to draw the continuation of the wall. Now, I will look at my specification. I have beam, reinforced concrete at 2,350 above floor level, 2,350 above the floor level. So above the floor level, I'll position 4,700. 2,350 times 2 will give me 4,700. So I'll come to the drawing, I'll measure 4,700. Anywhere I have 4,700, I'll put a dot. 4,005, 4,006, 4,700. So I'll put a dot at this point. Then when I get there, I'll just fix my beam. So in this case, I don't need to draw my wall from the floor level. I'll just fix my beam at this part, at this point. But before then, I'll bring out the wall thickness because I'll need it above and not below. So I'll bring out my wall thickness, which is 450, like we did for the first one. It's 450. I'll put a dot to bring it out. I'll put a dot. Then I'll draw the line. I will extend my line. Use your pencil. Take it up all the way. So now I've drawn my wall thickness. After the wall thickness, I'll close it up to bring out the beam. I'll close it up to bring out the beam. And the size of the beam, I can get the size of the beam from the specification. The size of the beam is 225 by 225, just like the size of the lintel. So now from this point upward, I'll measure 450. I'm going to assume this is 450. So from here to this point, I will assume it's 450. Because I'm using scale 1 to 50, I'll multiply all my dimensions by 2. After which I'll put dots, dots, dots to indicate that it's made of concrete wall, concrete, Control Z. So you put your stones, aggregates, cement. So after which you come to the next one. Now, when you look towards your right hand side, after the beam, you will see a single leaf door. After the single leaf door, you see another double door. So before we position the single leaf door, we'll check the measurement again, which is 3,500 from the arc. From the arc, we have 3,500. So I'll go back to my drawing, bring out my ruler, measure from the arc. Okay, so I'm going to place the first door within 7,000. So this is my 7,000. So at this point, I'll draw my first door, which is a single door. My width is going to be 1.8. 1.8. Okay. Bring it down to the floor level. Draw the casement. The panel. It's a panel door. 3 panels. Fixing the glass. So this is panel 1, panel 2, and 3. So the next one, which is the last aspect, is just to measure the third door, the second door, which is a double door. The double door is 3.6. Let's say this from the specification. I have DD to be 21 by 1,800. So I'll multiply 1,800 by 2, which is going to be 3,006. So I will position it just after 7 meters. I measure 7 meters from here. So I have another 2008 times 2, which is going to be 5,006. So from 5,006, I'm going to position my double door. So from the remaining measurements, I'll position the double door with the width of 3,006. So all I need to do, just measure 3,006 and fix my double door. So I will divide it into two. One part will be 1,008 and the other part will also be 1,008. I'll repeat the same design because it's the same type of door. It's a glazed door with 3 panels. I will indicate the glass material. Then I can fix the handle and the door frame. This is the door handle for the double door will be positioned here, and two. Then for this one, I can have it at this point. So the next thing to do is just the upper part of the wall you fix in. You just draw, you use the symbol for blocking section. 2 lines, that's the symbol for wall in section. 1, 2. Then I also do the same thing at this point. I'll fix in 2 slant lines to indicate my wall in section. Now at this point, I'm also having, when you check the drawing, you see that it's window in wall. This is the last part, window in wall. So I'll fix my window just like I did for the first section. I will assume from the floor level to this part, I have 4.2. Then I'll bring out the height. So I'll measure, I will assume I want to use the same measurements that I used here, which is 2.4. I just want to extend it. Okay, let me mark it out. Right. So I only transferred the measurements. So from this point to this point, I have 2.4. Same thing as from here to this point. I have 2.4. So I'll close it up. Close it up and fix in the conventional symbol. Draw two lines in between. After the two lines, put in your beam. The beam is 225 by 225. When you multiply it by 2, you have 450 by 450. Fixing the aggregates, the coarse and fine aggregates to represent concrete. Then at the top corner, at the top end, you put two lines to represent wall in section. The same thing, you put at the base. Two lines to represent, the lines should be inclined at angle of 45 degrees, but we don't need to measure. Kindly like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.